Welcome to the first episode of Inside the Playbook. This series is all about getting to know professional sports people in their environment and getting an insight into who they are. My first guest on the podcast is Liv Coleman. Liv is a netballer by trade and has been in and around professional netball circles since she was a teenager. Liv has a seriously impressive resume, and I was lucky to sit down with her and talk all things netball and life. For those listening to the podcast, I will show Liv 3 photos throughout our conversation today. The first photo is one of her in junior reps. The second photo is of Liv in full New South Wales Swifts kit. And the final photo is of Liv playing a different sport. With that, let's get right into it. Welcome back to the Sports Playbook. You're joined by your host, Demos. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. This podcast is designed for your commute. This is the first podcast of a very new format. It's called Inside the Playbook, where we will chat with athletes and go inside their playbook, discover who they are and what makes them tick. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my very first guest on Inside the Playbook. My guest has played multiple sports, but specialises at a high level in netball. So welcome to the podcast, Olivia Coleman.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for this.
You're very welcome. And in everything, there's Olivia Coleman, but you're like to be called Liv, don't you?
Oh, yes. I feel like I'm in trouble if I get called Olivia.
We'll make sure we'll call you Liv then. So I guess before we start, I want to throw to you some quick fire questions.
Mm-hmm.
So guests can kind of get to know you, see what you like, what makes you tick.
Sure.
You ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
All right. Tomato sauce or any type of sauce, in or out of the fridge?
Look, I'm going to say in the fridge. However, don't come to my home because it's definitely in the cupboard. But I'm going to say in the fridge.
Yeah, very nice. Or winter?
Winter. Yesterday, 38 degrees. It was not good. We don't have air conditioning at home, so it was rough.
That is rough.
Near the water, so that's okay, but definitely winter.
Very nice. I feel like I know the answer to this, but I think viewers and listeners will be interested. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Yeah. so quick. And then sleep in or an arvo nap?
Can I say both? I'm a sleep whenever you can kind of gal.
Yeah.
I'll sleep in and have a nap on the same day. That's available.
That's such a win.
Yeah.
So as I kind of touched on at the start of the show, you specialise in netball. You've played a fair few sports, but netball is like where you've honed your craft and where you've really grown it. How did you get into netball? Like, what was it like at the very start when you were a kid, for example?
Yeah, sure. So I basically played every sport under the sun. I played, a little bit of basketball. I tried gymnastics. I was a little bit of a human ironing board I could not bend. So I was not good at that. Did dancing, basically anything that you can think of. So I lived in Brighton the Sands for a little bit, and we lived next door to the St. George netball courts. And given my height and everything, my parents thought, okay, we'll ship her off over to the courts over there for a Saturday and see how she goes. And kind of went from there. I loved it. And it was also really nice. I was tall all the way growing up, so it was really nice to be around people that are also really tall, and I didn't feel like I was sticking out or anything like that. So it was nice to kind of get into my element. And I wasn't good. I was terrible to start off with.
Yeah.
Played a bit of shooter. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't get a goal in, but that's okay. And then they stuck me down the defensive end once they realised, okay, she's not made for the circle in terms of shooting. So yeah, that's kind of how I started.
What at the very start, what was that kind of like? Because you're obviously trying a fair few positions and things like that. Did they kind of just stick you in goal shoot because of your height?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They thought, oh, yep, she's tall. She'll be able to hold and get that ball. And which, to their testament, yes, I did. I got the ball. It just didn't go in the hoop. You don't need that. It's fine. So yeah, then kind of transitioned and made my way to goal defense and then kind of to goalkeeper. From there.
Is there like a position that you preference in terms of goal defense or goalkeeper, or is it just what the team needs on a given day?
To be honest, what the team needs, I do like playing a bit of goal defense because I do have that ability to attack a little bit more, and use a little bit more creativity. So I do like playing goal defense, but because of my height, naturally, I'm usually back down the the good end
Yeah.
as goalkeeper. But yeah, kind of just what the team needs and sussing out the matchups and going from there.
Yeah. And when in kind of like your junior career, when did you, I guess, feel like you were starting to get a hang of things, people were potentially like noticing you a bit more for like reps or something like that? When did that kind of start to happen?
Yeah, look, as I said before, like doing every sport under the sun, I actually started netball quite late.
Yeah.
So I actually started at 13 and kind of had a really fast trajectory from there. So did 14's reps, 15's reps. And then, to be honest, the pathway from there is really quite straightforward. You do, your underage reps, and then you do Sydney Academy. So depending on the area, obviously I lived in Sydney, so I was doing Sydney Academy, but there's Illawarra Academy, Western Sydney Academy. And then I did that, and then went into the state sort of pathway from there. But to be honest, I can't really pinpoint a moment where I was like identified as such.
Yeah.
I was always someone who wasn't necessarily the best, wasn't the fastest, probably wasn't the most smart, but I was someone who always gave it a crack and like gave 100% wherever I could. So I think that's maybe where coaches sort of identified me and they were like, okay, she's a hard worker, so we'll put her in where we can.
Yeah. And at these kind of like rep tournaments, like if people haven't kind of been at it, are there scouts there from like professional teams, or how do they kind of identify who are the next up and comers that can rise through the academy?
Yeah, so yes, absolutely. There's people that go to the big tournaments and watch, and also the coaches, even for reps and that sort of thing, they've all had their own sort of journey to be where they are as well. So they do have that experience in the pipeline themselves. And so they might recommend you for further teams or that sort of thing. So yeah, they do come to different tournaments and watch you. So always make sure that you're giving it your best shot. You never know what might happen.
And at these tournaments, like obviously it can be quite a high pressure environment. I'm assuming both your parents, had they been involved in a professional sporting environment, like, or are they like completely away from it?
Look, I'm sure they'd probably say, yeah, I've been in a professional environment. So yeah, short answer is no. My dad played a little bit of soccer growing up, and my mum was a netball fanatic, as is my whole mum's side of the family. They all love netball, and they're also very tall, so they were also slotted into the netball environment.
Yeah, great.
But I'll get into it a little bit more, but my parents have definitely had my back from the start. They've definitely wanted me to pursue netball and wanted me to be the best I can be, whether that's in my academic studies or my sporting sort of career as well.
I think the good thing there, and correct me if I'm wrong, they probably gave you a really refreshing, I guess, output because they haven't been involved in a professional sporting environment themselves. So they can, at these rep tournaments where it can feel like a lot is on the line, they can sit back and kind of see the whole outlay. Did that kind of come across when they were chatting to you about, I guess, what's next for you?
Absolutely. I'm someone who, I guess, stresses a lot when it comes to my sport or whatever I'm doing. And something that my dad always used to say to me is, at the end of the day, it's a rubber ball that you're chasing. That's what it is. At the end of the day, that's what netball is as a whole. You're getting a ball, you're putting it through the hoop. Don't overdo it when it comes to stressing about netball. That's what you're doing. So yes, absolutely. It was definitely refreshing to have them on the sideline and, in the lunch breaks and that sort of thing, we'd just have a chat about life, not necessarily about netball. So yeah, definitely very refreshing to have them on the sideline.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Do you think that were they your biggest influence mentors growing up, or is there, I guess, someone else within the netball circle that you kind of lean to get advice at those early stages?
Yeah, definitely. I have to say, especially during those younger years, my parents and my grandparents. My grandparents actually, obviously, I'll get into it a little bit more, but my day-to-day regime was literally getting up early, doing netball at school, going to school for the whole day, and then in the afternoon, my grandparents who were from the Blue Mountains would actually come pick me up from school in Kingsgrove, and then take me out to Homebush, which is where I played. So not only mentally were my parents and grandparents a great support, they were physically always there, ready to help me where they could. So yeah, definitely my parents and my grandparents for sure.
And that's really special, like, because it takes I think people often forget, like, it takes a village around you
Absolutely.
to help professional athletes get to where they have to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Because otherwise, like, you can't do it.
Gosh, no. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's really important, sorry, to be appreciative of, you know, everything that they do, because, you know, in hindsight, I probably at the time was just like, oh yeah, they're picking me up from school and taking me to Homebush, but that's 2 hours of their time every day that they were taking from their own sort of activities and taking me to netball. So, yeah, I'm definitely very appreciative of my parents and my wider network, and yeah, very special.
Yeah. I'm curious because, like, obviously netball's a small circle. You get to see a lot of people. You get to know them quite quickly. From a super netball perspective, were there any players that I guess we would know that you were playing with in reps or playing against?
Yeah, not necessarily in my team, but definitely at reps. The likes of, you know, Taylor Fraser, Liv Coleman Brown. And then obviously through the New South Wales pathways, I basically grew up with them. They're like my sisters, really.
Yeah.
So I had, you know, Tegan O'Shaughnessy, Taylor, as I said. Yeah, basically when I hit that state sort of level, we all kind of just came together with one big family and then kind of dispersed from there. So, yeah, definitely. And I'm still really, really good friends with them today.
Yeah.
And will be for probably the rest of my life. So, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And for viewers at home, I'll show you this after, but I actually wanted to show you a photo.
Oh, God.
And get your opinion. What did you feel like?
Oh, God. The braces are really it. Yes. Nice. Oh, God. Both Taylor and Maddie, I love them. I forgot that photo existed.
I just had to find it somewhere. It's just an easy Google search, but we won't go into it.
That's a bit sad to know that that's an easy Google search, but you know, yeah. So they're both Maddie and Taylor. I love obviously Taylor being in the Mavericks now, and then Maddie I play against in Premier League. Maddie has had a very similar sort of journey to me, so we bounced off each other a lot when it comes to selections and going through the pathway as well. So yeah, I love those two.
How seeing that photo, how's that? Do you have any feelings that kind of come to the surface when you see that? Like, are you proud? Do you look back fondly at those experiences? Like, what kind of comes to mind when you see something like that?
Well, first of all, it shows how old I am now, and you know how long I've been in the process of, you know, the netball game and everything like that. I definitely look on those memories fondly. I think as a whole, I wouldn't be the person that I am today without netball. And then a huge element of netball are those friendships and teammates that you have. So I think that they definitely shape who I am, I guess, today. Yeah. Sorry to be sentimental, but
it's great.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I think it's really important, like, especially as a player yourself, like, you having people familiar with you going through that pathway together, like, that's really important. Absolutely. To feel like you can actually, like, bounce off each other, feel like you can actually work together for a common goal. Like,
absolutely.
It's really important.
Absolutely.
I hope you've enjoyed the chat so far with Liv Coleman. We will take a short break, get into some orange quarters, and we'll be back for the next play. For people that don't know, you were a Swifts training partner. How did this come about? What do you remember? What those, like, that first conversation was like? Could you kind of take us through that?
Yeah. So I was a New South Wales Institute of Sport athlete for 4 or 5 years after being identified in the Australian squad sort of underage pathway. And so at the time at NSW for short, I had Briony Akle, who is now the Swifts head coach, as my coach. She was also at the time the Australian Netball League coach, which unfortunately doesn't exist anymore, ANL. There's another sort of way that they do that competition now. So she reached out to me in 2018 or 19, early in the year, and asked if I wanted to come to a couple of the Swift sessions. There was also Anita Keelan who was there as well. She was another massive mentor for me growing up. And she was the Swifts assistant coach.
Right.
And she also had relations to my Premier League side at Eastwood Right. So both of them, Briony and Anita, invited me for a couple of sessions. I actually played alongside Amarangi Malasala, who's from New Zealand and is in the league there, I believe with the Stars there now. And both of us were invited to come to a couple of sessions, and I was quite young and it was very scary to be in the same room, let alone playing on the same court as, Sarah Clow and Maddie Turner and that sort of thing. So I did a couple of sessions with them, loved it. And then I got the call up in 2020 to be an official training partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. And I think people forget as well, like, get as a training partner is a fantastic achievement. But from an external perspective, it probably wasn't the greatest timing due to COVID obviously happening. And you can't control that when you're younger.
Yeah.
Like something like that coming about, like what was that like in terms of you get into the team and then something that's completely out of your hands can derail it?
Look, it was really rough. We had a few sessions, I remember, in 2020 and a few games and that sort of thing. And then basically COVID happened and the shutdown happened. So we had to do our workouts and everything from home, which obviously being in a team environment, that's really hard to go from, passing with amazing athletes and then having to go home and bounce the ball against a wall, super, 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 super hard. And the thing with 2020 especially is they kept prolonging how long the shutdown period was.
Right.
So we never really knew when we were coming back. So in some ways it was good because it meant that I had to be on top of my fitness and make sure that, tomorrow could be the day I'm going back to Netball Central and hitting the court.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, it was really, really tough and unfortunate timing. I do wish in hindsight that maybe I was a training partner a little bit earlier so that I could get a little bit more exposure.
Yeah.
Because then obviously in 2020 and 2021, the girls went to a hub for the competition.
Yeah.
And unfortunately I wasn't invited to that hub.
Yeah, okay.
So I felt a part of the process, but also not a part of the process because of that. And then obviously being at home in Sydney, netball wasn't happening whilst they were all getting to play up in Queensland. So it was definitely a rough sort of period, especially for me mentally.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I had the experience that I had because it's obviously shaped me to the person I am today. So
yeah. And I think it's probably important to point out for people that aren't aware of it, during this time, the broadcast agreements are also being worked out as well.
Yeah.
So from, I guess, a financial point of view, training partners don't get paid the same as what a normal, I guess, athlete would. And even still, a super netball athlete does not get paid the same as
God, no.
what a higher code would. So what does that do to you? All the girls are in the hub.
Yeah.
Obviously you're getting paid an amount, but it's not enough to, I guess, keep you going.
Yeah.
How do you go about that, I guess, mentally and psyche-wise?
Yeah. I think something that my parents have always ingrained into me, even from a young age, is netball is only going to take you so far.
Yeah.
Right? So you retire, maybe, to be fair, it is a little bit longer these days. People are retiring mid-30s, early 30s and that sort of thing. So I always was someone that wanted to have something outside of netball, which, thank God.
Yeah.
Because during that period of COVID and everything like that, I could rely on that other sort of stuff that I had outside of netball. So that, I think, was really helpful for me, and especially my mental health, because I think if I put all my eggs in one basket being netball, I would have been really, really lost during that time.
Yeah.
So I am very thankful that I had work and university commitments as well. I know you just touched on the fact that unfortunately netballers don't get paid a whole heap compared to other codes like AFL or rugby or whatever it might be, especially those male-dominated sports. A lot of the time, the athletes, especially those coming into the environment, they do have an outside job.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time you'll see the athletes train in the morning at the Swifts and then in the afternoon they'll go to their second job.
Yeah.
Which is super, super tough because it means that you're on all the time.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally, right? So it's hopefully something that can shift in the future. And I hope that, netballers do get paid what they do deserve, because it's a really hard and physical job that's always demanding. So I'm hopeful that in the future it will continue to rise, and there is that trajectory. It is continuing to grow. So yeah.
Because like you say, like you point out that for the athletes that are full-time right now, they are having to go to training, but then straight after go to like a full-time job, like the likes of an Ali Smith or something like that, or they turn to, I guess, coaching. So like Pivot with Paige or something like that, where they still need to find extra funds to keep them going. And the likes of those athletes, like in those netball circles, they're well known, but unfortunately, I guess they don't have as much media exposure yet. But hopefully that's something that
absolutely
that can change for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
I want to show you something else as well. Don't be scared.
Oh.
What I can show viewers at home a bit later. What does that photo mean to you?
A lot.
Yeah.
It was probably the first photo where you can see I'm in the Swifts environment.
Yeah.
And they actually used that photo for the announcement of me being a training partner in 2020. So yeah, that photo actually means a lot. I wish I didn't have the bib on, because then I could show underneath that I have the Swifts logo and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, that's a throwback as well.
It's like, it's an incredible achievement.
Yeah.
I think like that can't be understated. Like being a training partner in a professional environment, professional sport's hard. And I think that people that go about, their full-time jobs and things like that, they will turn to sport to get their reprieve and I guess enjoy sport on a weekend. For those professional athletes, it's mentally taxing, it's physically taxing. You constantly have to be always on. And there's so much that happens behind the scenes that people don't get to often see.
No, exactly.
What happens from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough one. And like you touched on the Swifts, not just the Swifts, but Super Netball had to go into hub for Queensland 2020 and 2021. When it got to, I guess, into the seasons and we're in 2021, what was next for you? What were you thinking? How did that, because the Swifts won the premiership in that year. What was kind of next for you at that point?
To be honest, it's really hard to say. I think in 2021 I actually started my law degree.
Yeah.
I think, second half of 2021. So I really wanted that balance between netball and also my professional sort of life as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's really hard to say what I was thinking at that time, to be honest. I wanted to continue being a netballer in whatever capacity that meant.
Yeah.
Obviously, the end goal was to be in a Suncorp Super Netball Team, which unfortunately I didn't get that call up. I was willing to go interstate or even internationally, New Zealand or England, like a lot of girls have, to play the sport I love. But it was kind of at a point where I had to balance both my degree and my career, but also netball, but also almost make a decision as to what avenue I wanted to pursue. It was still early days. I was 21.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of where my thought process was at. I was still doing everything in my power to continue playing netball.
Yeah.
And then obviously still play netball today.
Yeah.
So that did continue, but I did have another year and then have a year following that off where I played a different sport. But yeah, that's kind of where my mindset was at during that time.
And it's kind of like you have a partner at home, you have a family, and like you said, you had to weigh up what was next from a professional netball point of view, or do you like go full-time work?
Yeah.
What were you kind of thinking at that point? Did you go, I'm going to go full professional netball, give that a red hot crack, or is it?
I still think for me, and as I said before, it was all a balance.
Yeah.
I think that if I solely had netball, I would have, gone gung-ho and done everything in my power to secure a position, which that's not to say that I didn't try my damnedest to get into the side.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate where I did also have my studies.
Yeah.
And that took a little bit of my attention. And so, yeah, again, as I said, it was more of just like a balancing between the two. Yeah.
And so what came next from that?
Great question. So then we came to 2022.
Yep.
Thankfully, no COVID.
Yep.
Got out of the hub, got back to kind of usual. And yeah, I was still continuing my degree in law. I was still working at a law firm at the time. And I was still doing my netball.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wasn't selected to be a training partner in 2022.
Yeah.
But as I said before, I still wanted to go full steam ahead and really, really want to be in a Suncorp side.
Yeah.
So I actually played the equivalent of A&L with the Capital Datas.
Yep.
And that was coached under Margie Parr, who is now my Premier League coach.
Yeah, right.
And I had probably my best week of netball during that tournament because I let go of the stresses of netball and just played because I loved it and I had fun.
Yeah.
And I got one of the best stats that I probably ever have. And I also knew that it was probably a little bit of a time of make or break. And I was like, I can't control the uncontrollables. I'm just going to go out there and play my best. And that's what I did. And I was really thankful for that tournament. Following that, I actually took a little bit of a break from netball, more so for mental health sort of reasons.
Yeah.
And then, so that was in 2023 we're coming to.
Yep.
And yeah, as I said, for mental health sort of reasons, I had played netball, since the age of 13. And I'm talking not just socially for fun on a Saturday, like I was playing every day. And so I wanted to have a little bit of a break. I was still young. I was like, I can take a year off. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Probably got about 3 or 4 months into this break. And I was like, wow, I really miss having that team environment. And I was scouted, probably because of my height. I wasn't very good at it, but at AFLW. So someone from the Giants actually scouted me and I got the opportunity in 2023 to be a training partner for them.
Right.
And also play for a Premier League side, which we got the premiership. So that's kind of where my trajectory went in terms of what I did after that 2021 season with the Swifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this give you
some
memory?
Yeah. Notice there how I haven't actually got off the ground.
But you're still standing tall though.
I was still tall.
Yeah.
Look, I probably had very high expectations of myself to be really good at AFLW.
Yeah.
And look, there were elements that I was good, but I don't know if that'll be my long-term career option in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your time playing like a different sport, or was it kind of like you wanted to get back into netball after?
That's a great question. Loved the opportunity, and I think I was very lucky to have the opportunity that I did have in AFLW, considering that I hadn't played before and, to be honest, didn't grow up with AFL. My family was never a huge AFL. I know your family is a little bit, but my family wasn't huge into the AFL, so I didn't know the ins and outs of what to do when I hit the field.
Yeah.
I was naturally put into that ruck position, being tall and everything like that. Yeah, look, I definitely loved my experience and I learned a lot. And I think I can take a lot of tips and tricks that I got from AFL and take that to my netball. But ultimately at the end of this season of that AFLW season, I was hungry to go back to netball.
Yeah.
Just because I kind of knew it. And it is my passion and was my passion from a young age.
Yeah.
But that's not to say I didn't enjoy my AFLW experience. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, you kind of touched on there that you had that hunger to get back into netball and you really wanted to do that. Were there any opportunities that came up from a professional sporting team environment, like any of the super netball teams that came knocking, or what was that like?
No, not really. To be honest, I didn't actively seek it out either.
Yeah, okay.
I wanted to come back still to a competitive sense, but more for the love and the joy of it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to play Premier League. So I came back into the Premier League environment in 2024 and took an opportunity with the Blaze team.
Yeah.
So South Coast Blaze, which their main sort of home is in the Illawarra region, so Wollongong.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of wanted to come back to netball for the love of it and the passion of it, more for fun, noting as well that I have now, you know, a full-time job and that sort of thing as well. And I don't have the capacity to do the same sort of commitments in the Suncorp environment as I did before.
Yeah.
But that's to say also I didn't actively seek it out.
Yeah.
And maybe that's you know, something that I might do in the future still.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one knocking on my doors. However, I will say when I came back to netball, everyone said I could jump higher.
Yeah.
Everyone said I could, you know, I was faster. So
Okay.
I think that's testament to AFL. So it wasn't for nothing.
No.
I took a lot of skills out of AFL and have applied that to my netball. So
yeah. So you're with the South Coast Blaze at the moment.
Yeah.
You're vice captain, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What's that experience like? Because you're vice captain. You're obviously part of that leadership circle.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like to, I guess, lead a team in the sense of they look to you for advice when you're out on court?
Yeah.
How do you kind of go with that responsibility?
To be honest, with or without the title of being vice captain or captain or whatever it may be, I've acted the same.
Yeah.
So I think it's always really important to give back to the sport in whatever shape that may be. And for me, it's probably much to the defenders' dismay, I will speak to them the entire netball game. I will shove them where I want them or, you know, whatever. But it's also really exciting because I was always the newbie and the youngest for a really long time in Premier League. And now I'm classified as one of the oldest.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting to see how much the sport has grown in terms of the youngies essentially being so good. They're so good. I don't know if I was that good at that age.
Sorry to jump in, but what do you kind of think that gets put to? Are they getting more opportunities? I
think honestly, it's more difficult to get more opportunities now.
Yeah.
So people work harder, people work smarter. You have to really hit those 1%ers to even be looked at.
Right.
And so maybe it's testament to that. I also think the pathway has changed a little bit, and maybe it's testament to that. There's obviously you've got the Swifts Academy, the Giants Academy, and that sort of thing. So maybe they have more exposure to those high level environments, and maybe that's why. But I truly think that because it is such a competitive sport, and there are hundreds of thousands of girls that are playing netball in Australia. You know, you really need to make sure that you're hitting those 1%ers to be identified and to be looked at. So maybe that's a reason. To be honest, I haven't really given much thought to it.
Yeah.
But I think, it's a culmination of that and also having these new environments such as the academies to work within as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if a professional team does come knocking, like anytime soon, what are you kind of in the headspace? What are you thinking at the moment? Is it something you would actively pursue and take? Is it something that you would stay in Premier League and enjoy that experience? Where would you kind of lean towards at the moment?
I'd jump on it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would jump on any opportunity. You know, it is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it's only an opportunity that you can have until the age of, 34, 35. There's always going to be, I guess, that legal career in the background.
Yeah.
And it is something that I'm super, super passionate in, but it is something that will always be there. Netball won't.
Yeah.
So, definitely if someone were to reach out, I'd be there.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's Super Netball Team.
Oh, yeah. And I think because it has grown so much, it would be really exciting to be in that environment and be in that environment as an older person having all this experience now.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing to be in the environment when you're 20, 21 and you're still learning things, and not to say I wouldn't learn things now, but I think it would be a very different experience at the age I'm at now and having life experience and stuff like that.
Yeah. And if that opportunity were to come knocking and relocation was on the cards, that's quite hard.
Yeah.
How does that kind of play into it? Would you still look to chase that opportunity, or is it something that you would have to weigh up a few more options?
Yeah, look, I'd probably have to weigh up a few more options. It's not as easy as, I guess, when you're younger and you're living at home and you can kind of just move out when you want to and when the opportunity arises. Thankfully, I do have a very supportive partner at home who would probably assist in any way, shape or form that he could. And yeah, I don't know if he'd move with me or he'd just support my endeavors in doing so. But there'd definitely be more things that I'd have to weigh up. Yeah.
And I guess a full circle kind of way, you've experienced a lot in netball. You've been Premier League, Super Netball teams, you've done academies and things like that. For any young netball fans or any type of people playing netball, what's been your biggest learning experience or piece of advice that?
Probably not to sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
I was someone, especially at a younger age, who really got in my head about a lot of things that weren't important.
Yeah.
And so I think you need to, whatever sport it may be, play or, train because you love it. Not necessarily look at the end goal, but look for the journey, because you will reach that end goal, whatever it may be, whether that's in sport or just in life anyway. So yeah, really focusing on the journey rather than looking for that end goal. And yeah, not sweating the small stuff. Like at the end of the day, as my dad said, it's a rubber ball that we're chasing, So yeah, they're the two probably biggest things.
Yeah, they're great. And just to really quickly finish on just a few funny questions just to see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's fine. Nothing directly to you. What do you have any, I guess, pre-game rituals or superstitions that you have to do?
Yes. It's a bit sad. I like to think that I'd like to have, the swaying the swaying ponytail and everything and look really aesthetic when I'm playing netball, but it's got to be in a bun.
Yeah.
It's got to be in a bun. If it's not in a bun, I probably won't play well. That's just what I think in my mind. I'm also someone who loves to have like a full meal beforehand. I know a lot of people don't like playing on a full stomach, but I love it. I think, this might give me that extra, energy whilst I'm on the court. Yeah, exactly. You never know. But yeah, probably the bun, always eating a full meal.
Yeah.
What else? And I have to have good pre-game songs.
What is part of the pre-game songs?
Anything Justin Timberlake. Literally anything Justin Timberlake or like a bit of Fisher, pumping it up, the speakers. And they're probably the two, but any songs from them.
They're pretty good. And then what's your biggest netball ick?
Black shoes. Charlotte, this one is for you. She came.
Full black shoes?
Full black shoes. And then the black socks is just not it. It makes you look, I think, gumpy. The black shoes. Yeah.
It's certainly a look, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially now with like lots of different shoe brands having colour.
Yeah. Don't go with the black.
Yeah, still
it's not it.
No. So yeah, if there's any super netball players with black shoes, we'll know what you're thinking pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
Just think they're gumpy. Well, Liv, I really appreciate the time you spent today. We've obviously been friends for a while, but it's lovely to actually just chat to you about your experiences from a professional sporting point of view, because you probably don't not you yourself, but people probably don't talk about it as much.
Absolutely.
And it's really refreshing to hear. So thank you.
No, thank you. I think it's a really exciting thing that you're doing. So the more athletes that we can get on board and have a talk, I think it's really important because, we don't get to have these sort of chats with non-netballers. So it's really refreshing and nice to have a chat with you.
Thank you. Do you want to throw to maybe a potential guest that you challenged to come on the podcast?
Ooh, I'm going to say maybe Liv Coleman.
Okay.
I reckon she'd have really good insights.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Tegan O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, literally anyone from Premier League. They all have their own story and their own journey. So yeah, but they're the two ones that I can think of straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, challenges thrown to them. So
Yeah.
we'll have to slide into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
and get them on the podcast.
Get them on. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for tuning in to that episode of Inside the Playbook. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, or review wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next play.